All right, we got some more weird stuff going on here. Now, the other day I showed you, I made a video about the bush in the front of the yard, how the weeds are really growing. And this is supposed to be winter time. And so now I'm going to show you how this is winter time. Winter, when we leave winter, like February, then you have March and April, then you go into spring. And when you go into spring, you start getting buds, little buds on the trees where the trees are starting to grow. So this is technically still considered winter. Maybe in a month or so we'll have spring. But why are the leaves falling off the trees as though it's fall? See, this whole scenery here does not match the time of the day, and so the leaves are falling off these trees here as though they're fall. Now next month they are supposed to be growing back. They're not supposed to be falling off the trees like they're fall. Today is supposed to be, according to my phone, February, I think it's February the 2nd, 2022. And yet the leaves are just now starting to fall off the trees as though there is fall going into winter. And if this is February, then March and April, you know, for sure April starts to spring. So with that being said, the leaves on the trees should be bare and the leaves should be growing. And they shouldn't be falling down. You know how we break leaves in the fall time, right before we get ready for Thanksgiving and Halloween and excuse me, and all of that. You see, as you can see, these leaves here are just not starting to fall as though it's fall, and this is February. You see that? Something is really weird going on around here, but I am stuck over here in this here apartment complex against my will. I have a home in Las Vegas, but my case is against Barack and Hillary and the Attorney General of Nevada, or the former Attorney General of Nevada. So with that being said, they have stripped and robbed me of everything, trying to get me to cooperate to prevent me from stop pursuing this case against them. Everybody know I've been pursuing this case against Hillary and Barack for a long time, since 2015 now. Since then, they have totally deprived me of my life and my daughter. Totally. Like my daughter, since that case in 15, I may have saw her a dozen times. The last time, though, being that I did go and stay with her for about a month in this apartment in Dallas. She don't have no other family. She just out in Dallas by herself in another prison-like apartment that looks like these, just by herself. She's supposed to be a doctor, and yet she don't have a job and was on welfare. But she supposed to have a master's degree, a bachelor's degree, and a doctor's degree. And yet she can't call me. She put on Facebook she loved her mom more than life itself, more than anything in the world, and yet she can never call me. And all of this started happening since that case with Barack and Hillary. Now, all of my federal funds are being withheld. They are being blocked, just intentionally for no reason, just are being blocked. So only Barack and Hillary can do such acts like that. I filed taxes for 19 and 20. That money is money I paid into the system. I'm not asking this country for shit other than what they owe me. And so I filed taxes for those 2 years and got a return back. I'm still waiting on that money. If I had that money, I could get up out of this here place. This prison they got me here. I have no desire, no reason, under no circumstances would I have been in Texas. This is not even a desired place of mine. Under no circumstances would I have been here, under none. So my daughter lives here, and they made it whereas this was my only outlet. This is a federal state. Go to Wikipedia and read about Texas. And as you can see, this is a state that Hillary's claiming. This is a federal state. This is her state in which she's claiming. And so, with that being said, they make my baby girl, the only outlet. I mean, I'm sorry, the oldest child, Amaya, they make the only outlet for me to come is here because everybody else they're blocking. And everything else I own they took, including my truck that's fully paid for. And so they made that the only outlet. And now that they got me here, my baby's crying every night because she has to put her own mama out on the streets, which she don't wish to do so. But she's made to put her own mother out. And next, in about 60 days, she has to put me out on the streets. Hillary refused to give me my house back. Now, it's the constables, code enforcement, everybody verified the house is mine. Just some blatant, evil, racial, white stuff. They just refuse blatantly to give me my house back. This is, Hillary is claiming territory here in Houston. In Las Vegas, she has no jurisdiction because Las Vegas came in. They did come in on an equal playing field, but they have jurisdiction, and they are to go ahead and settle my case and give me my house back without any interference in Washington, unless protocol calls for it. In this case, a simple house protocol didn't call for that. This was just a mere retaliation from that case in 15 where she took Lamaya, blocked her from her education, and took Lamaya the whole 9 yards. Now you see, I got this here. See these leaves on this thing on the ground? You know, you're supposed to be having leaves around this time because the trees should be growing buds and they should be start growing. It's not fall. We shouldn't be having all these leaves on the ground like this. But nevertheless, again, that's why I am here in Houston. This was my child's only outlet, and now she wants to downsize and put her mama out on the streets because Hillary refused to give me the money that's on the records, on the court of records. I have been defending myself on the court of records since 15 with her and Barack. There's money there that's already allocated, but they are blocking those funds. All those funds are being blocked, so now I'm just stuck here. Now, since 15, and since I've been on the road as a fugitive, since I've been on the road, trying to find a rescue asylum somewhere. But since I've been on the road looking for help, trying to find help, everybody I stay with, regardless of whether you pay them rent or not, are forced to put me out. And their way of putting me out is by saying they all have to move. Everybody have to move. Now my daughter she lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. 2 months ago, she bought a sofa that lets out to a couch because she wanted me to get comfortable and use that as my bedroom, the living room. Just 2 months ago, just barely 2 months ago. And now, last month, a month after she buys it, she says that she wants me to get out because she's gonna downsize to an efficiency. Well, damn, how much more can you downsize? She went from a 1-bedroom mama get comfortable, and to now she want to move because she want to downsize to an efficiency. And so that's kind of how my story has been these here last 5 years. So I'm sorry, 7 years since 15. I stayed with a lady named Marie when I went back to Las Vegas, waiting on them to see what they're gonna do with this house. Now I'm paying her rent every week. She too, just like everybody else, was going out of town for the holiday, Thanksgiving. And she don't want nobody staying in her house while she's gone. When I first asked her, what you doing for the holiday? Are you going out of town? She said no. Somebody got a thought right away and said, okay, well, let's make her go out of town. So then a week later, she came back. She's going out of town. And now that she's going out of town, she don't want nobody in her house. She's out of town. So I took my things with her, and I got a hotel room. I stayed in a hotel room for almost a month. When this girl got back from out of town, she no longer wants me in her house. And now, supposedly, the house at 9335 Fresh Springs, supposedly she sold it, and she lives somewhere else now, Marie. And so that's her. the girl Tiffany salon that I was in. Now they literally, their game was for getting me on the streets and get me without transportation, make me walk. Well, I've been walking, and I lived in the streets in a salon that was not fit for, not even for a salon, less known a place to stay. And so I lived in that salon for almost a whole year as a homeless person in a salon, in a beauty shop for a whole year with the house. Now, mind you, I got a house that's over $500,000. Mind you, I got assets in the millions of dollars that Hillary stole. Millions of dollars worth of assets that Hillary stole. Right now, I have a good, easy $100,000 of equity in the house that she stole. Now, my assets are millions now. Assets are me, because I had the franchise and a lot of other stuff. And so I lived in that place for about a year, or nearly. I paid her rent every week. That wasn't good enough. So this girl been in the shop for 20 years. But because I'm living there, she too had to pretend like she's moving out of that location, just so she can get me out. So she was moving out in October. I left her. I had to leave in October. My baby sister was like, come on, stay with, your timing was perfect, coming to St. Louis and stay with us. Stay at Javon, her baby son's house. Say that she co-signed for him that place, and he just gonna up and walk away and leave it. Come on, take that house. She said, at least this way, all you have to do is just pay the next month rent without all the other process and the extra fees. So I kind of weighed that out, because in Las Vegas, I had already had that La Sierra townhouse. They were already approved. I had a 1-bedroom already approved there. Then I had a kind of like a little storefront, but upstairs on the second level, very small storefront that was already approved. Now my dilemma with both of those, with my baby sister Angie's situation, is that seemed more like a promising and real easy attainable to get in there, and it give me a sense of a refresh and a renewing, because I had just left Judge Hoefengene court, and he told me if I am 120 feet from my own home, that he was going to arrest me. Well, that house at Los Angeles, that's approximately about 120 feet. Tiffany's shop where I was at is approximately about 120 feet. So if I was just caught walking down the street near their house, they was going to arrest me. And then not only that, due to the blindfold, the scientific abuse, digital scientific blindfold that Hillary has done. So due to that, the scientific blindfold, the fact that now I am the stylist that does, at least for the blacks, a great deal of them, maybe a good 80, 75. I do quite a bit of their service. Oh, let's put it this way. Amongst the blacks, a good 90% of them knew me in Las Vegas. My service catered around them, but we can do all types of hair. When I say cater around, because it was mostly, we were known for extensions. 2011, that became really popular for me, the extensions. But however, I'm really known for some of the real trendy hairstyles. That's my real puppy right there, is the trendy hairstyles. But in 11, I kind of got a little creative to generate some business. So the hairstyles just kind of, the hair weave, the extension just kind of boomed for me. So that kind of really took off in a whole nother direction itself. And so, with that being said, a good 90% of the blacks in Las Vegas know somebody. So normally, all I would have to do is just show up, make a few phone calls, and say I'm back. Not in this case. I get back, make a few phone calls. It's as though I'm in their second Las Vegas and not the original Las Vegas, for those who understand what I'm saying. I'm sure Carolyn Goodman knows about that. If you go to my Facebook page, you see a letter she wrote, and she talked about the second Las Vegas or the other Las Vegas. So it's as though I'm in their virtual gaming second Las Vegas and not the first Las Vegas. So they took what popular person that everybody know and could just blindfold or make me invisible to all of them in their new dimension. If again, this conversation may go over some of y'all heads because it is for those who know. So what they did was they blindfolded me, made me invisible to a lot of people. And so now when I go back there, I am calling, making phone calls, letting everybody know I'm back. And I'm being treated like a stranger in the city, whereas when I go to work, I may have 20, 30, 40 people outside waiting on me. But this, not this case. So that's why I was kind of reluctant to take those two other offers in Las Vegas in October 2020. Again, one was the storefront that was on the second level, but it didn't have a restroom either, and I would have to use it for business and living. And then also at La Cienna, condos, they approved me for nearly $1,200 a month for one bedroom. Now, when I paid the deposit for Miss Dewberry, a friend of mine, when she lived over there, a 2 bedrooms was $750 to be exact. But this time I wanted 1 bedroom, and now it was $1,200. So in their second dimension and in their new, whatever you call it, they two Las Vegas or they two worlds, two Americas, the rent is astronomical high. In the second world, it's astronomical high. And so it is a blatant evil, racial kind of deprivation. So in other words, this new second America is not fit for blacks. They wish to see all blacks in slavery again, or they make it extremely hard. And those, they are still taking your money though. They're still taking the money. So they're robbing their victims. They're getting double the rent for, like, these apartments shouldn't be no more than $500. She's paying $1,200 for this here little raggedy shit. So in their second world, they found a scheme where they can rob folks. In their second world, you all always have car problems, and in actuality, there's nothing wrong with your car. And they send you right over here to the Mexicans, and they take your money again, fixing something now that's not even wrong with your car. But because you're in that virtual world, it shows that your car is fucked up and it is messed up and it won't work when it's all just gaming. And so now they found a way to just, I mean, this is highway robbery at its finest. And so now all of your hard-earned living, especially in my case, everybody knows somebody that I work 18 hours most days. I close on 4th of July, Christmas, and Easter. That's it. 7 days a week. All my life. So, and I don't trick off money. I don't drink, smoke, do drugs. I can't even afford to travel that much. So I don't trick off money. Every dime I have, I have it to show for. And I never ask government for nothing. So they had the wrong person. You just can't come and just take millions of dollars from me and throw me in a second world so that you could take my shit in a real world. If those who understand what I'm saying. But for common folks who don't know nothing about this here virtual game and stuff, you just can't come and just highway rob me and just take my shit. Now, when I was at Tiffany's again, so I rented a U-Haul, and this time I rented a U-Haul, then I got a professional banner made. I lost it again in another storage, but I had a professional banner made. And I still use some of my old pictures. And my old pictures are just the people in Las Vegas, because every time I do a photo shoot, I use my own clients. And so I have their pictures on this here U-Haul. So I had this picture on the U-Haul, and it's huge, like an 8 by 12 or something, huge, like the size of your living room wall. Covers the whole side of the U-Haul. I put that on there. Do you know I didn't get not one bite? I'm talking about from people who consider me or sees me as a Janet Jackson, for people who see me as a Beyonce of Vegas, or a very well-known, popular person in Las Vegas. When they see me, oh, Miss Amaya, how you doing? Like that kind of stuff. People who receive me as a Janet Jackson in the city of Las Vegas, especially among the blacks. Now, I put the banner up just in case I can't reach all of my clients. I had over 6,000 of them, but I have them in a computer database in my business. They were able to, they did illegally confiscated those computers with all of the database. Now, we were so thorough and so efficient that when someone came into the salon, we always ask them when they come to the reception desk to fill out a client profile card, which if the receptionist for some reason is not there, they could do it manually, but if she's there, she'll enter into the computer. And one of the things we wanted to know is, how did you hear about us? Well, if they're a new client, most times it's always word of mouth walk-ins or the commercial. It's always word of mouth walk-ins or the commercial. And then if they're a returning client, and most times they are, then we also note their particular service that they have for that week. So in event that if I'm not there and I have one of these really die-hard clients that just insist on Samaya doing her hair color, my reception, that's her job, is to say, oh no, Samaya's not here today. They just walked in, and they probably wouldn't know, they just walked in. And she had to, whatever reason, but Samaya has employees. See, my employees are my little replicas, or my clones. Those are my employees. They are my little mini-me's. Because all the money goes to me anyway. Every dime that comes in the shop, whether I do it or one of my mini-me's do it, it still goes into my bank account. So it all is to benefit me. I don't have that kind of salon where this is my money, this is my client, my money, my client. No. Every dime come into the shop is my money. Just like you go to Walmart, every dime that goes into that cash register belongs to Walmart. Same thing. And I have employees, and I give them a salary at the end of the week. Well, the same thing. It's just the same thing. It's just I got a black girl who's doing business and operating business as a real business and not as a beauty shop. And so if a client come in and says, can you, well, I really like the way Samaya did that color for me. It was just a perfect shade of gold. I never had that before. I've been always looking for this color for a long time, so I'm scared for anybody else to do it. I just want her to touch it up the way she did it last time. So the receptionist would say, oh, no worries. Look, Samaya left these girls here. If she didn't think they could do the job, she wouldn't have left them here. She would take full responsibility for your hair. I see her here on this card. You used a 12GN with a volume 30. And let me just go and double check first of all. Hold on, come back. Oh yeah, we have your prescription right here of what Samaya used last time. The girls can mix it up identical. She used one part of this with 2 parts of this, or equal parts of both. They can mix the exact same thing that she did, being that we have your information on file from the last time. And you are guaranteed to get the exact same results. So Samaya left these girls here because she knew that they could handle it. So why don't you give them a chance? So now I told you that whole story because I wanted you to understand a little bit about how my operation was running, how my business was running. I wanted you to kind of get a thorough understanding because a lot of black salons are not like that. And I'm not saying all are. Some are very professional like that too. But we do a high volume. My salon most days look like the DMV because of the walk-in situation. Never need an appointment, you just come on in. And so because of that high traffic area. So now everybody knows me as Miss Samaya or Granny's. Everybody. Or Granny. Everybody knows me as Miss Samaya or Granny. And so, excuse me. And so for me to go back to Las Vegas, very, very popular. I'm on television. I tell you, I'm on television every day with my TV commercials. That's my own actor. I'm my own actor. And I've been my own actor since about 2008, 8-ish, maybe 9. I've been my own actor for television. So everybody knows me in the city. Now I go back there, 19 to 20. It's almost as though the whole city vanished. It's almost as if the whole entire city just vanished. I feel like my whole family just vanished. Everybody's just gone. I'm like, what the heck is happening here? It's as though everybody just vanished. I can't even beg upon a customer. I can't even beg upon a client. You hear me? So I did see a couple people. Once I was driving in my red truck, because everybody know the red Hummer. I live off a busy street with that red. I live off a busy street, and my truck is always parked outside because I have a pool table in my garage. I turned the garage into a game room. So I had the pool table, the one of those old-fashioned Miss Pac-Man machine, the ones you stand up to and you put a quarter in. So I had the Pac-Man machine. I had the pool table, I had the cable TV out there, theater seats, a chest deep freezer, and a refrigerator, and a little small bar, just some other little stuff out there in the garage. So I can't park in the garage. I park on the street. And I say that because I'm the third house from the corner. And the corner is Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King, millions of traffic goes up and down that street, up and down Martin Luther King. So when you're going down Martin Luther King, depending on which way you look, but if you look off to the side on a little street called Water Creek, everybody knows that's Samaya's house because everybody knows the little red Hummer truck that has her name on it since she's been in Las Vegas. It has Samaya plates on it, and it was trimmed in a United States flag, red, white, and blue. One of those license plates covers that you buy. Mine was like the red, white, and blue flag. America, the same America that's taken away my liberty, the same America who I honor are those 3 days that we close a year. One of them is the 4th of July, Independence. The same America who stole and taken away my liberty and my children, the invisible children, took away my children, my house, my car, my land, everything. That's the same America who I drive around on my license plates since I've been in Las Vegas. The red, white, and blue. The same America who's robbed me, who blatantly just blindfolded me through their digital gadgets. The same America who's using this weapon of mass destruction on their own person. The same America, not only on that person, but the person who has brought more value to this motherfucking country than any human being on planet Earth. And this is the way, and this is how America treat me and fucked my child and treat my baby. The only person who brought America this much of value since the history of civilization. The same America who's fucking my child, who just threw me out on the streets. Threw me out. Now, I'm a workaholic. I love working. Everybody know it. And my hands are so blessed, it don't make sense. Those are the fruits of my labor. I was doing hair before I went to these schools. These hands are Spirunky. These hands and this brain, this mind came from up above. Can't no computer. If the computer can teach you how to do hair, everybody would be doing it. You would need to try to watch me and mimic me. If the computer can do it, the computer can do it, then tell them to do it. But see, this is one profession. It was all about the hair. One profession. The computer can't tell you how to do hair because every head is custom. Every head has to be custom according to what we are given. Like for instance, what I mean by that, if you came to me and you have your edges around the side or ball thin, then I have to customize a style for you because we have to camouflage that. You don't need the world to know that. That's just between you and your hairdresser. If you have alopecia, we have to figure out a way to cover it up. You got alopecia hair. You don't want any artificial attachments in your hair, but you have a couple bald spots you want to camouflage. So I have to do a custom hairstyle around those patches that are missing in her head, and so on and so forth. So this is not one of those professions that you can take digitally, Catherine, Hillary, Barack. You can't take that one, sweetie. That was the wrong profession to steal. Now, the word grannies, I tweaked it because I'm the only sibling of mine that called my mother Granny. But I spelled it differently. I put a new spin on, a modern day spin on that word grannies. And I spelled it G-A-R-N, which spells grand. And I was trying to get that knees out of it, grannies. Instead of using the traditional N-N-Y, how can I make that say grannies and use another letter? So I went right on in with the second N being capitalized, uppercase. And then I threw a Z as Z, grannies, Z, knees. So I went right in with that granny. That word is a custom word. The way I spelled it never existed before I created it. So it was patent copywritten. I got an LLC, an Inc, and everything else, and I operated as an S corp, if you understand what that means. S corp just means that my business, from the time I've been in business, before it was Grace and before when it was just somebody else, paid for absolutely everything because I have no other way of making money. So just the gifts of my hand, the fruits of my labor, the gift that God blessed me in these hands, paid for everything throughout my whole life, from my kids' education to their housing, to proper shelter, for the nurturing of them, everything. The labor of these hands paid for that. The fruits of my own labor paid for that, the gifts of my hand. So everything that I do most times is always custom, as with Spirunky. Growing up as a kid, I didn't too much like for everybody to do what I do or wear what I wear. So I always like different stuff. I like to show up looking different. If I go somewhere, I wanted to be my own unique self. I wanted to wear something different. That kind of thing. So I always kind of thought outside the box anyways. That started from a child. Two incidents though, kind of midway, sort of in high school, you'll say high school. My friend Regina, when I seen the picture, she liked to do everything I did. Regina did. So she did mimic everything I did. So for our high school senior pictures, I came very formal with a dress on and a hat that had a veil, a black hat, very formal black hat that had a veil on it, a black veil on the face. If you go to West County Tech, I believe 1985, you was in Baldwin, sometimes Baldwin or Chesterfield, interchangeable, but in Baldwin, Missouri, you will see that picture of Samaya Hodges with that very formal hat, something like Kate will wear, the Queen of England daughter Kate will wear. One of them little small hats with a veil on it. And so Regina came in, and you look at the picture, you'll see Regina Green. She has a hat on also. I think hers was red, if I'm not mistaken. So she liked to do everything I do. One time, Regina come to visit me in Minneapolis. That was in St. Louis as we were high school students. Now I'm in Minnesota. Regina came to visit with me one year, and I was still working at this All About Hair beauty salon there, right off of Lake in Pillsbury. So I was still working there. I may have still been staying at 2738 Pillsbury in Minneapolis. So Regina, I was going to show her around. We were going to go out to a club. I think we was going to a club called Riverview in Minneapolis. But I got off kind of late. We didn't get a chance to go shopping. We wanted to buy something to wear. So she waited around me. So I said, come on, we going to Walmart. I'm going to find me something in here. We going to wear something. I think it was Kmart. It was Kmart off of Lake Street, East Lake Street, Kmart. We go in there. I go into a section, like a sporting section, and they had some really cute ski wear in there. Ski wear then just looked like the leggings that y'all wear now. It's just leggings, but they were black, and they had that neon green on the side of each leg with a black shirt that had neon green on it. They even had the little ski shoes that match it, and although they were kind of flat, we were kind of fly. Regina came in, she bought the exact same one. Hers is just the orange color. And so theirs was the orange color. So I said all that to say that, again, I like to be really different. Now, we could have went and found a little black skirt, topped it off with a pretty little blouse or a blazer that you already had at home. We could have did all of that at Walmart, anywhere. You could take me anywhere and I'm gonna find something to wear. I don't care what store it is, that's gonna look fly also. And they were attention getters for us, and we thought we were cool going into the club. And so I said all that to say, I like to be different. I like to be unique. I always think outside the box and do different things. So for them to try to steal that Granny's brand from me, for them to try and steal that Flippin', my mom's, White or Wheat Toast, Spiranki, all these things I create custom. But that seemed to be the name of the game since 65, 70, ever since they had access to my intellectual properties, they called them. All they do and all they have been doing since America has allowed its private partners, institutions, and others to have access to my intellectual properties all of my life. They have been stealing all of my custom ideas right out of my head, literally. And that's what they call intellectual properties. So that's why I say this country has robbed me and made trillions of dollars off me all my life. Then have the nerve to take a noble woman such as myself, who's only used to or accustomed to the best, the finer things in life, then have the nerve to take a noble woman such as myself and expect me to sleep on the streets. I don't have a reason to sleep on the streets. My fingers and hands still work. I can still get clients if they stop blocking me. They reroute all of my phone calls, blocking all of my emails. Now the phone is off. This is a 20-year-old phone, only cell phone number I ever had, and now it's off. 702-860-0508. If anybody want to pay it, 702-860-0508. AT&T account number, I don't care who knows it at this point, it's 1013-1965. So that means anybody can pay it. I could change that account number later if you want to be a blessing. Anybody can pay it. But they have shut off this here fund. So now, also, they have what you call the invisible children. I don't know where my children, at least the youngest one is, because just like everybody else can be blocked, she can too. Getting back to when I had the U-Haul. So I put the banner on there, and I'm sitting outside, parked right off of Martin Luther King, right by the shop. Nobody noticed the banner. So this particular day, I was waiting on a new girl. I think Tiffany had given me the client. I was waiting on a new girl to come. And I sat outside in the U-Haul. I'm just waiting. So she called me, hey, somebody in the shop. I said, oh, okay, I didn't even see you come in, because I'm sitting right here at the drive-thru, right where she can come in there. I'm sitting right there at the drive-thru. And she says, I was trying to come in through that drive-thru right there, but they had barricades up there. It was blocked. It was like, you know, the little barricades when they don't want you to go in the inside of the little cones or something. She said they had that blocked off, the barricades, and I couldn't get in, so I had to go all the way around. I said, huh? Now I'm sitting here, right? I'm sitting here the whole time. I didn't see nothing blocked off. I don't know what this girl is talking about. But right where my truck is, right at the entry into the place, and off of Martin Luther King, and the entry into the building where the other salon is, she said that it was barricade. They had the cones up and she couldn't get in. And I've been sitting out there for hours. I didn't see anything. It's that kind of stuff. So they blocked everybody who saw the truck, who desired for me to do their hair, from coming. Now, Continental Salon was open for 3 other people when I was in Las Vegas. But my eyes, every time I go by there, it keeps saying it's closed. I look through the windows, it's vacated. Nothing is closed to me. The cosmetology board is open to some and it's closed to me off of Sahara and Merlin Parkway. So it's that kind of stuff. 7 Seas was closed. They building things overnight that's is not there. The sun, this lady in a Lyft or Uber, whatever she was saying, she's from North Las Vegas. She's been all those years, and she picked me up. She never saw that Dignity Hospital and something else that was there. She never saw it, but she's been in the area all her life. So again, I have hundreds of these little stories, whereas my eyes, to me, some things are closed or just not even there. But to her eyes, or to other eyes, they are there. To me, my eyes can see an elephant. To others, the elephant is as small as a giraffe. To my eyes, I can see someone that looks like something from a horror scene when they could be as pretty as a model chick. So some of this stuff is on your apps too. It be done through your apps. But if you have an installation, it's called Secretly Been Chipped. And as most of you been following me, I show you the chip that's in my, or the installation that's in my tooth, because I didn't go back for them to finish the work. And so therefore they didn't get a chance to cover it up with a cap, with that artificial cap, the tooth. And so it's still there. So this is none other, it's just a nano computer chip. It's just a tiny one, the tiniest computer chips ever. And it's called a nano, N-A-N-O, a nano computer chip. And so it's just like your cell phones. They come with built-in apps. They come with, and some of those apps have like a face off or face changing, or they could take the face of yours and put it on somebody else's, or do all this old kind of stuff. If you go to your Apple apps and look at some of those face changing apps, or look at the the engrams, the neurology, all this stuff here. The only thing is, and this Abbey Dental and Mexican Dental put that tooth in there. And so it comes with apps, just like a cell phone. It's a small, tiny computer chip. And they have built-in apps too. So, but it's a fact, being that it's in my body, my whole reality has been deceived and my whole life has been taken away from me. My children and everything else, my work, my business has been taken away. And they call that digitally blindfolded. And that's what I'm alleging Catherine has done, the former Attorney General of Nevada. I'm alleging that Hillary and Barack also knew of that. And that's the reason why their names are the defendants in the case. Case is already won on property laws. I don't even need a case technically. So the case is already won. I don't need the law because the law was happening by silencing themselves. So I don't need the law because this is property law. Anytime you can sell me as a slave or just being in my property, but yet sell me as a slave electronically worldwide when there has been, slavery has been abolished in this country, don't matter which method you selling me as, it's still slavery. As it sold me to slavery to all of its private partners, governments worldwide, common folks, just everybody, globally. Slavery is slavery no matter how you slice it. Deprivation is deprivation regardless of how you slice it. It's all the same. The fact that I'm walking around in a strange city, strange land. They just took my Hummer truck. Everybody knows somebody in that red Hummer truck with her license plate that says Somalia on it. I have the title. I paid $1,000 a month for 6 years for that title. And you just because everybody took part in the evil, they just doing blatant acts, thinking that I'm not going to get any help because everybody has taken part of such evil. And so she could just blatantly take the house, blatantly take the kids, blatantly take the truck, blatantly take the business, blatantly just takes everything. Because they think and feel as though, hey, shit I can do about it because they got the law covered. Well, the law says that for an absolute right, and this is an absolute right, that I don't need the law for you to return my house, my property, my children, or none of that back. And under that eminent domain stuff, I am to get paid anyways for the just taking, for using my property for public use, especially a global public use. So I am to get paid regardless whether there's a case or not. I say that because right now they playing the collection game through the courts. The courts are helping Catherine. And so they are playing the collection games with the court. And so now, this is how you know they're playing the game. Because again, what does my IRS taxes have to do with this case? Unless somebody is essentially just depriving me and wants me to live on the streets, because my taxes shouldn't be affected by this case. And that I paid into this system. American gave me shit. I've been an entrepreneur all my life, and I had to pay taxes on all of my employees, pay and match taxes on my employees. So this country gave me, I was technically, and my child technically, we were exempt from gaming. But again, everything has just been done blatantly. Because I am established like a Fortune 500 franchise or a business, I am exempt from this stuff from the beginning. Anybody with an EIN number says your property cannot be used in trading. So I am exempt from this anyways. Now mind you, when she did that digital implementation, that was in 2014, I was already campaigning for the President of the United States of America. I am still campaigning for the President of the United States of America. So the digital implementation, just for the mere fact of her, Catherine, doing that digital implementation or putting this tooth in my mouth during that time, See, those are capital punishment anyway. I'm campaigning for the highest office in America. That was unacceptable. That was unconstitutional, and that was unacceptable. But you gotta remember, I started studying the law in 13 to go against her. And as I start preparing myself for this case, that's the Mexicans and them snowboarders. They act like they got echoes to what I'm saying. And so as I got closer to filing the document, because I came in from scratch, not knowing nothing. And as I studied in 13 and got closer to filing them documents, somebody began to worry, and they hurried up in 14 and did that digital implementation. Now, ever since then, now Judge Kissinger, I'm so appalled and so disappointed because out of all people, Judge Kissinger know that I won that case because she was the presiding judge. She know for a fact that I won that case against Catherine Cortez. And yet she still allowed this lady to kidnap my child. I don't know if her and Hillary's doing it together, but she still allows this lady to kidnap my child and to deprive me of my life. To my eyes, the Mexicans are staying in my house, which would be Catherine. I asked my neighbor, because I know my eyes can be deceived. So I asked my neighbors, the Philippines. We've been there for 15 years together. This year will be 21 years for me in the house. I don't even know where my furniture or nothing is. It's just like going to the store, coming back, all your shit gone. I don't know where nothing is. So I asked the Philippine neighbor, I said, are those people still, I text her, so I had that on text message. Are those people still living in my house? Because I wanted to make sure it ain't just my eyes playing tricks on me. And the Philippine neighbor said, yes, they are. It was the Philippine neighbor who gave me the picture to show me that these people was moving out of my house, that Colleen's consignment company, furniture truck, was there to collect all my things. Well, I called Colleen's consignment furniture company, asked them if they had it. They said yes too. They said yes, and the only way they could pull it off, I had to call the police. So I called the police. Police said they rerouted my calls, or somebody imposter just answering the phone, and they said that they can't pull it off until I get a police report when I call Colleen. So when I call the police said I have to be in Vegas to make that report, or else I do it online. I went to go and file that police report online. I couldn't finish it because the computers, if you don't click on every box, it's not gonna let you go through. And that's just one of the ways to get away with all this crime, these are deprivation, just robbing folks. It's through this computer, because everything is just a black and white through computer. There's no shaded area. So you can say, for instance, have you been convicted of a crime? Or have you been arrested? Let's use the word arrest. Have you been arrested for a crime? You just have to say or yes or no. You can't say that it was thrown out of court, or these motherfuckers just arrested me and it was unlawfully and it was thrown out. It's just a yes or no kind of thing. So the computer, all the shit you're doing online, the computers now are here to set up for failure. So when I tried to make that police report online, the computer asked me, was I white? Was I Mexican, or Mexican origin, or Hispanic? I don't know if they use the word Mexican or Hispanic. Or was I Hispanic origin? I was like, damn, whatever happened to, are you black, white, Hispanic, or other? See, but the computer didn't give me that option. The computer gave me the option of white, Hispanic, or Hispanic origin. So I got to studying the word Hispanic because maybe there's some new stuff. There's some new sovereignty language or something. Maybe this is new. This is for the police report now, online police report. So non-emergency police report. So am I Hispanic origin? What I did, I got to studying, and the footnotes to what I was studying that I found that day online says that Hispanic origin, they, in 2010, that the Mexicans through Congress with announced that they are now the new whites, that they all have white origin and that they are the new whites. The Mexicans that 2010 through Congress through Congress, they made it known and official on the records that they are now the new whites. So the computer didn't give me an option. I can't even make blacks won't even be allowed to make a police report. Ooh, if you ain't a white, or if you ain't white, then you can't even make a police report. And that's what they gave me in 2010. That white, if you are black, there was no room for you nowhere. So this is what the digital world for some has turned it into, is to extinct the entire black race for some. This is where they're going with the new digital world. And I am the model. Matter of fact, my home was a model home. And so I am the mock and the model to show the world, or to show black, where the digital world is going into. And that is to extinct the entire black race. Now, this is just some blatant evil here. I don't care what world it is. Y'all all came to form your own governing states and territories by coming in on an equal playing field. Samaya came in on an equal playing field and also did admissions into the union on an equal playing field, which made me an individual federal agent. Now, regardless of what game they're playing or this new dimensional stuff, that Gwen even mentions that on her 2013 restraining order. She said that I was going to be seeing different images and stuff. She said that on that restraining order, that I'm going to be seeing different delusional images, because she knew what they were going to do. And so she wrote that on that restraining order. So as I was talking about the union stuff, don't matter which game you came in on, the original Constitution and that original admissions is for every game. Otherwise, you wouldn't have even been in that territory if you didn't agree to come in on those admissions. So that admission was for every territory. Now, regardless of how y'all decide to reshape or reform your countries or your territory, you still came in on equal footing. I don't know nothing about your second Las Vegas, and I was never here in this second America or this two America. All of this here is fake. The sun is always white. The sun always beams down. The weather is not proper. Everything is always so opposite of what it's been for me all of my entire life. Now just all of a sudden, I'm kind of like Dorothy of the Wizard of Oz, who's been swept away into some dreamlike world that isn't obvious. That isn't obvious. Now they have the laws pertaining to this. One of them was that I saw an article written pertaining to this, and it was called the redemption. It was called the redemption, that there is remedy in the law of redemption. Also, the Department of Defense told them to give me a repair to reverse that digital implementation. They did it under the statutes, under the aviation laws, which was the Chapter 14 of the Code of Federal Regulations 145, and it states repair. It's a repair station, housing unit, whatever. So on a good note, everybody else that's affected like me, if they can make it their way to me, I can open up a facility for all others who have been or a victim of such, who are a victim of these crime games. They say crime games, but the crimes are real. They just gonna give black a reality. The crimes are real, but nevertheless, that 14 CFR repair is saying that I can have, I wanted my own housing or facility like that as a hospital for victims of electronic harassment, that I can open up my own housing hospital, so to speak, for victims of electronic harassment, which I do. I think moving forward in my city, I think that's what I'm going to do. Open up a hospital for people victim of crimes, victim of crime games. That may win over some of y'all here, but that's only for a certain class of people. And that's what that, those aviation laws, that's what that repair, when they talk about the facilities and the satellite towers, the communication towers, all of this stuff, that's kind of what they're talking about. So moving forward, I think I would like to have, so all is not bad, because sometimes God will allow, if the Creator had longevity in my path or in my destiny, from my if that was my faith, longevity, then all is not bad in that sense, because I had to have learned about all of this if someone selected me to be the administrator or the owner, the founder of a facility that can help others that are affected by digital torment, torture, and harassment. Now, that's been an hour, and it's more than enough time, because I know when I am listening to audio or on YouTube, sometimes I tend to not want to listen to nothing past an hour. So I give it to you as snippets, a little bit of snippets at a time. Because I'm in a one bedroom, my daughter's in there, I like to come outside and walk around on a good day to chat. And so again, this is my hour worth of walking. I do that most days. I don't know why I can't lose a pound, but this is my hour's worth of walking. And so with that being said, again, my cell phone is off. I'm gonna record this, so when I go back into the Wi-Fi area, I'm gonna upload this onto YouTube. If anybody wants to be a blessing, you can surely, by all means. My phone number is 702-860-0508. I am with AT&T. They shut the service off a few weeks ago, and they said the bill is $462 and some odd cents, so $463. So if any other state, black police officer, federal agent, or anybody for that matter who wishes to pay this cell phone bill, perhaps even on a regular basis, any judge out there who knows that funding is already on the record, that it's already been allotted, you can use that money, those funds, to keep this service on, if nothing else. And so again, with AT&T, I don't care who has that account number, it can be changed. It is 1013-1965. I have Apple on it already. Everybody that is using my phone, that has a clone to my phone, they are, and all other FBI agents, they know of everybody else who has a clone to this phone. So all the information, if done fraudulently, can be tracked. So I'm not so worried about that. But if anybody out there who wishes to help me, then please be a blessing to me in any way you know how. I'm just trying to prevent from going to be forced out on the streets to live under a damn tent on the streets, when I have lived a life that of a queen myself. I have made over hundreds of $1,000s a year. The last one that I remember, that was in 2013 or 2012, because this officer acted like he knew me one time. I was in Atlanta, and he guessed exactly how much I made. He said, "How much you make?" "About 280,000. And I said, "Yes," but he acted like he knew exactly what I made. So see, my salary, the money that I would make, was almost that of the president anyways of the United States. So that's the kind of money that I used to make, and money did grow on trees for me, because I made it every day. And now somebody just wished to just take my life and turn it upside down without any rhyme or reason. Again, I don't drink, smoke, do drugs, or none of that. So there's no reason for me to be living in such a state. I have a home that has more than $300,000 in equity in it. I have business brands that are worth millions of dollars. And someone thought they could just do a digital blindfold and just take everything, including my daughter. So anyways, you guys have a blessed day. That's enough for me. I am in need of a blessing. Guys, take care. Bye.